Is it nature or is it nurture? What is it that forms your personality? Today, we found out what formed Frankie's personality, so stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Guys, welcome back. This music, I'm loving it. This opening music, all of a sudden, it's like upbeat. Welcome back to our Whiskey Cavalier After Show. I'm one of your hosts, Linda Antwi, and the team is not fully back, but part of our team is back. Welcome back, Beer Brandy.
Thank you. Monica here, Beer Brandy.
And Janine, Dirty Midnight.
Welcome, ladies. And Monsi, we're missing you today, but we'll see you for the finale next week. Guys, what were your overall thoughts of this episode?
Gonna be honest, it wasn't my favorite. I enjoyed it, but it was a little lackluster, I thought. It didn't have the pizzazz that it usually has, but it was still fun, and there were definitely elements to it that were super fun.
This was probably my least favorite of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I was a little confused by it, too, because it didn't seem like the same actors. It just seemed very, like... And I don't know if that was the writing or whatever the case may be, but it was not my favorite either.
Well, didn't you say that they did them out of order? Mm-hmm. Okay, because when you said that a couple weeks ago, that totally made sense. And I was like, oh my gosh, I definitely get it now. And especially after this episode, I was like, oh, this one felt really out of order.
Yeah, because they didn't have the big bad that we've been sort of building up to at all a part of this episode.
They didn't have that. I feel like Ray and Susan were aloof to each other when we know that they're in this relationship, that all of a sudden they're not. And I didn't like how next week they're going to be bringing back the other bad, Standish's girlfriend, and she had no part when you know she's like right down the hall from them. So there were things that just didn't make sense. And again, for me, they're in Connecticut. I know Connecticut is not that far from New York, but they were in Connecticut, and then you turn around and Susan was standing right there. I was like, did Susan come to Connecticut? Or, oh, no, wait, you guys are all back in New York. That transition has yet, the home base thing that they do, has yet to make sense to me. Because they don't follow through on how they got there. They're one place, the next minute they're another place.
I think timeline in general with this series has kind of thrown me off from the get-go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that being said, this was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I love that they were in LA. And the little funny jokes about LA, because, they're funny. What did you guys think about the mission and how Frankie let her guy get away because she was worried about her boo?
So I grew up about a mile from the Santa Monica Pier. So that whole scene, I would totally believe that would happen. The surfboards being knocked over. What was it? Black-eyed peas in the background. All of that was just so, I don't know, typical Santa Monica, Venice. I could see it happening. I thought it was like very different. There were a lot of different scenes, different situational predicaments that they've been in this episode. And starting off with the surfboard and having her whack some guy over the head with the skateboard was definitely something that they hadn't done before. And it this whole episode sort of reminded me of when they had that locker room fight.
Oh, yeah.
There were a lot of situations like that weren't like you're in a lair and fighting. So I mean, that was perfect.
Yeah.
I loved the skateboard move. That was awesome. That was probably my favorite part. But no, I agree. The surfboard thing. And I liked the moment that she let him get away to check on Will, because that's a side of Frankie we haven't seen yet. So it was really nice.
So you liked it. You liked that
I liked it, but it also threw me off
him.
because it's not in her character. So even though she is getting soft and warming up to him, it did feel very out of character. So it was nice to see, but I don't know that it made sense.
See that
he needed to be rescued. Yeah, I don't know if it made sense or not, but it was interesting to see his response to it and how he was like, oh, you care about me, you let your guy go because you care about me so much. Standish and Ray, let's talk about them and the mission. So they come back, and we know that Frankie's feeling out of sorts because she did let the guy get away, and she is not going to go in on this mission to hear what the mission is. So Standish stands in for her.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. What did you think of that interaction with Will, Ray, and Standish and the mission?
I think it kind of threw me off that he was in there. I was like, wait, so she was shaken? I don't know. Shook.
She was shook.
She was shook so much that she couldn't be a part of that briefing. But I did like to see Standish in that position because that was kind of awesome.
Mm-hmm. And it's fun, too, because Ray is usually the goofball in that situation, and there were two goofballs. So I'm not sure it entirely played out as overly goofy as maybe they were hoping that it would be, but I'm such a big Standish fan that I really enjoyed watching him in that situation.
Yeah. Him and Ray really have funny moments in the show, I have to say. I didn't actually really understand why he was in the room at all, to be honest, but he was funny. He was super funny. Like, that was the part where I giggled. I was like, oh, that's cute. And why do you have your sunglasses on?
Right?
You can't see. What's that song? I wear my sunglasses at night. Yeah. We hear about Eddie Benson and the drug cartel, his Fortune 500 company, and then the drugs that are supposedly making teenagers OD all over the place. And we find out about a character, Daniel Liu, who's married to a federal judge named Kelly Ashler, who's actually Frankie's family. And so we're going to have to like weasel our way through there. What did you guys think of actually knowing that Frankie had family and kind of hearing a little bit more about her backstory?
So we brought this up, I think, a few weeks ago in a news and gossip piece. Kelly is played by Bill Lawrence, the showrunner's wife.
Is that who that was?
Yeah, that's who that is.
I didn't know that. I love her. I've seen her in other stuff.
Yeah, so she's been actually in a couple of other Bill Lawrence projects. Like she was on Scrubs and she's been on a bunch of stuff like that. Yeah, she was in Cougar Town for a while as well. So I was really, really anticipating this episode because I thought there were going to be really big revelations. Now, I'm not sure that I got the revelation fix that I was looking for, but
What were you thinking it was going to be?
I thought we were going to crack the code to Frankie and how she is the way she is a little bit more than we actually did, but I liked seeing them together. I liked that interaction because I sort of got like just a glimpse into how she developed to be the hardcore like assassin that we now know she is.
Yeah, I'll totally agree with that it wasn't quite the revelation that I was expecting. And I didn't really expect a revelation because I'd kind of forgotten completely, because what was it, the pilot episode where they talked about her background and her parents dying and everything. So it took me a minute to be like, oh, we're coming back to that. Okay. But then I agree, there wasn't much of her character that changed because of that moment, but it was just kind of a little glimpse into things. So
it did really nicely balance the moment that we saw, like when she was really concerned about Will and made that call in action, and we're like, that seemed sort of out of character, but we also saw that her mentor was able to sort of crack that outer shell too. So I thought in terms of the series, maybe it didn't fit as much as it could have, but I think for the episode, a lot of it clicked for me in terms of her character development.
Linda does not agree.
She doesn't agree.
I mean, my face is looking like this because I have so many questions. Well, here's what I think. I do think that Kelly her personality explains Frankie's personality. I do think that Frankie, seeing that Kelly was able to find love outside of everything else that we know goes on in the episode, that spoke to her, because I think that Frankie, being layered, is supposed to, be trying to deal with these newfound feelings that she has for Will. And rather than keeping away all the time and being closed off, she's trying to let those feelings through. At least that's what they want us to think.
Totally.
I just felt a little rushed through her history, though. I thought, like, if this was going to be the big lead up to knowing who she is a little bit, then spend a little time with that relationship, especially since they said they haven't seen each other since she went off to the CIA, right? So spend a little time there and let us know, like, why the big, this is Frankie's family, and then they're in the car, and Frankie spends time opening up to Will, saying she's like my second mom. She was my guardian at 17. All of the stuff that, you know, she doesn't normally talk about. And then, you know, it's like wham, bam, poof, poof. Oh, there's two of you. Okay, bye. Like, that's how I felt. I felt like there was no time spent in that relationship. And that was unfortunate to me.
Yeah. But maybe, you know, if this show goes on, then maybe they will revisit that relationship. And I certainly hope that they do, because I really like that actress.
Yeah.
So we found out they hadn't talked for quite a while. And what did you think of the reunion, and also Will being a part of the mix when they first, like, he's all, you know, what did she call him? A live Care Bear and a human Care Bear. And so what did you think of him seeing that now that there's two of them, and his way of dealing with two people that are very similar?
I actually loved that. I thought that was a great moment when he's like ready to take a picture and they both just gave him that dead stare and he was like, cool, I got to delete that one. It was so great because, like, you know, his personality kind of broke up the two of them and gave it a little bit of humor. Otherwise, it would have just been super awkward with the two of them going at it the way they did. But I loved it. It was a good interaction, and it kind of set the tone for where she came from.
Yeah, it was a good icebreaker for the two female characters, and it also, having a second Frankie helped magnify the differences between the two of them.
Yeah.
And that was something that I felt like we were sort of getting comfortable with throughout the course of this season, of like, okay, like, they're very different, but now there's a second Frankie, and the differences are so glaring that it kind of renews the humor, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that this was definitely like episode pilot 1 Will, where he's so like soft and cushy and hoorah, yay, yay, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
A little bit more so than I've seen him in previous episodes, but he was definitely very true to that character. So you saying that actually makes me think, yeah, that's true. It was very glaring. Like, he is very like peace and love. And it stood out a lot more in this episode for sure.
Now knowing that it's out of order, to me, this felt like a second or third episode.
Oh,
like,
for
it
sure.
felt very much at the beginning, and even just kind of the actors' chemistry, all of that.
All
like
of it.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like, it threw me, because even I said this just 2 minutes ago, even seeing the preview for next week, they seem like different actors.
Yeah.
And if you guys recall from the pilot, I wasn't sure if it was going to work because I didn't see the chemistry between the two in the beginning, which is kind of what I saw today.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was fresh, new, being polite, and great actors and generous actors, but at the same time, it's like, we've grown with you guys for how many episodes now? Who are you?
Yeah.
What is this? It's weird.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it was weird. It was just very weird to watch. Like, I felt like, you know, when you when you go over to your family's house, right? And your family is your family's your family. You go over however you want to go over. But then your family has to go to, like, the neighbors. And your mom, I don't know about your house, but my mom was always like, you better put on your best behavior. Don't embarrass me. And that's how I felt like this. Everyone was acting proper and not like their loose selves. That's how I felt.
Yep.
But whatever. Moving on. Let's move on to the Susan and her psych profiles, because that was funny to me
That
as
was
well.
super fun.
Yeah.
And the secret bathroom. So I love the secret bathroom.
Yes.
I love that the two of them, he was like, Jay was like, come with me to the bathroom, because that became the joke of the episode, was come with me to the bathroom. And they get to the bathroom, and it's a secret bathroom, secret bat cave. I liked that Standish and Jay, even though they pretend not to really like each other, they're like besties now.
Yes. I loved their interaction in this episode.
Yeah.
They kind of like, I mean, as much as you didn't want them to team up against Susan, them doing that was actually incredibly hilarious to me.
Yeah.
And they had a good banter between the two of them. They were probably the only ones that felt like they'd actually developed characters already and had that rapport with each other.
Which is weird, because they seem closer than they ever have. Because you know all the bickering they normally do. Here they seemed like they were besties.
Yeah, I thought the same.
Yeah.
I thought the same. I did really enjoy the lair. I wish the lair had been in every episode, because I think it's so fun that in their lair, there's a sub lair.
Yeah.
In their bar, there's a sub
Yeah.
secret room.
Yeah.
And it's like a clubhouse. It's like a nerdy tech CIA clubhouse. It's just so
Filled
much
with
fun.
explosives.
Yes, the like nail clippers that could explode. Genius. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
So good. And I also love, and like not just get towards the end, but it's still about the lair, but Susan's like, oh yeah, I've known about that for months.
Because she knows everything.
She knows everything.
witch.
Don't doubt her.
She knows
Never
everything
doubt Susan.
about everyone, isn't it? But you know what? What a great friend for knowing all of their intimate details and then just treating them the same.
Yeah.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I think that's the true friend. Let's talk about the seagull guy, the tennis. I called it the tennis fight scene. So they're going to play tennis because they're going to capture this seagull guy who turns out is the chemist in this whole scheme of things. And what did you think of the fight scene?
I think the fight scene was, I like how it started with the tennis ball to the throat, and I thought the fight scene in general was good. I loved the song. Whoever picks the music in this,
Yeah,
in
this
series,
was a good episode.
I was
too,
all
for
about
music.
it. But no, I like the fight scene. I thought it was good. For me, it was hard to keep track of who was who. I think we kind of talked about that. Like, wait, what's the order of the bad guys? And then, of course, as we know, in the end, it all gets switched up anyway. But just trying to figure that out. And
Yeah.
like, who are they chasing? What does this guy mean to him? That whole thing. But the fight scene was fun. I always like the fight scenes.
Me too. I was curious though, why just because the guy comes in with two guys that are not dressed to play tennis, why immediately they thought it was going to be a threat? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, they were clearly thugs, though.
Yeah, but they were thugs, so what? Thugs can walk around in tennis courts.
But I think like the plan was to use the tranquilizer on him, and they're like, "Well, we can't do that, or these two guys are obviously going to attack us." So I think
Yeah,
they just
don't
went
know.
for
I
like the
didn't-
biggest ones first.
That was the only part I was like,
So
let's see where we go with this first. How about?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned earlier, I really liked the variation in setting. I thought it's really clever to have, I don't know if I've ever seen a fight scene in a gym before.
Except the
We
locker room.
we saw in the locker room of the gym.
No, but like with treadmills
Oh.
and gym equipment, very different setting. I can't
Yeah.
think of a single movie or television show off the top of my head where I've ever seen that before. So I thought that was really clever and fun. I did feel like there was something about the choreography, just as a general note, that scene and other fight scenes that wasn't like the punches weren't landing as much. I don't know if you felt that.
I didn't really notice that because it was so quick paced. I was actually
It
just
was
going to say,
quick.
I think my favorite part of the series is the way they get creative with the fight choreography.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true.
using a skateboard, using surfboards, using locker rooms. I mean, they get really creative to mix it up so it's not just like punching and kicking.
Yeah, they used a
So-
tennis racket, a tennis ball,
Yeah.
and a golf club today.
Yeah.
So I mean,
They did.
good on you.
I'm never going to look at any of those pieces of
They're all
equipment
weapons
ever
now.
again the same
Right.
way. Yeah.
No, you will not be able to throw them like her. So just settle down over there.
What
Beer
about the
Brandy.
skateboard trick? Can I try the skateboard?
You can try that one.
Now it's a trick.
It's going to like hit me in the
It
face.
went from being a weapon to now, it's just a trick.
I'm going to try to
I can
flip
see
it up.
exactly what she's going to do. She's going to be like, I'm just going to try this real quick. Ow. And smash herself or someone else in the face.
Yep.
So then they capture their guy and they bring him to Susan because they always bring him to Susan. She gives him the truth serum. Meanwhile, we know that Frankie goes to David to say, hey, listen, we know about what you're doing. You got to turn yourself in. Did you actually think she was going to let him turn himself in, knowing who she is, on his own?
No.
No.
Yeah, I was shocked about that.
And like, not only, it's one thing to say, I'm going to let you turn yourself in. We're going to go to the station right now. But like, I'm going to let you turn yourself in. I'll meet you there. Like,
Yeah, it was all
In
very,
a few hours.
Yeah, it was very weird. So why did you do all that work for Siegel, who's just the chemist, when this guy, I get he's your extended family,
yeah.
but you're also a CIA agent, FBI, working with the FBI. Like, really? That's what you're going to do? After you already have coming off of a loss because you lost the guy in LA?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think at this point she even knew that he was the main boss. maybe at this point she still thought it was maybe plausible that he was a finance guy that just sort of got kept up. I don't think she knew at this point.
No, and I'm not saying that she did.
Yeah.
She didn't know. But what I'm saying is that as a trained assassin that we know she is, as a CIA agent, as an FBI cooperative working in a unit, this is one of your bad guys. I mean, they said it from the beginning. He's one of the bad guys in that he may not have known that he's financing these drugs that are killing these teenagers, but he is. And you're going to be like, just like Monica said, oh, I'll see you. Let's meet up in 2 hours. I don't know. It just didn't seem like it was in character for who she is and how she's going to get the bad guy, whether he's the true bad guy or not at that point.
Yeah,
That's
that was
true.
a lot of time for him to like run away, call his buddies, call a lawyer. Like, I mean, there's just so many things in that scenario that just don't make sense.
And where are you going for 2 hours again? Like, what do you need to do that you can't come with me? It's so stupid.
Linda's not happy.
I don't like it when things don't make sense to me. I don't like being invested in a character and then the character go all willy-nilly and then we have to try to figure it out. Anyways, what I do like is AfterBuzz TV.
I love AfterBuzz TV. Let me tell you about it. So we wanted to take a minute to say thank you so much for helping make us the ESPN of TV talk. We would not and could not do this without you. So thank you for tuning in every week or listening to us on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, however you're listening to us. Thank you. If you're not aware of AfterBuzz, we have an after show for pretty much any television show you can think of. There's over 100 hours of original content every week, and we could not do it without you guys. So thank you. If you love what we do and want to keep seeing more, please comment, rate, give us a thumbs up on YouTube, give us 5 stars on Spotify and iTunes podcasts, and please reach out to us because we love talking TV and we don't want it to end just after this 1 hour where we get to talk about it this week. So thank you.
True story.
Yeah.
Love it. Let's move on. So they get their bad guy, they get the truth serum, and they find out that Daniel, so Benson's not the actual crime boss. Daniel is a crime boss. And I want to say that really specifically before I move on. He is the boss of the Fortune 500 company and a major drug cartel.
He's a busy guy and he has a wife and kid.
Yes.
That's a packed schedule.
Very packed schedule. And you have a bunch of people that work underneath you and for you in your criminal enterprise. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a criminal enterprise. I'm laughing because it's going somewhere.
It's starting.
So, they find out, and in the process of letting him turn himself in for a second time by himself, he ends up killing the 2 escorts that are dead in the garage, and in the meantime, we all find out the truth about who he is, right? What did you guys think about that? Were you shocked that there was that twist?
I wanted to be more shocked.
Yeah.
Especially the way it was done with like the car and then he shoots him. But like for some reason that the whole scene just was like, oh, okay, cool. I don't know. Like I feel like in all the other episodes when there's been a twist, it's really surprised me.
Yeah.
And this one just didn't seem to have that effect for me.
You know what? I thought it was really clever that he's this major drug cartel guy and he's married to she's a federal judge now.
Federal judge.
They needed to dive a little deeper into his motives that's a crazy long-term investment of a cover for what, like information or protection or I wanted to hear more about that and have it be a more extreme emotional reaction between the two. There was a lot of potential here. They took it pretty far, but they didn't take it far enough, in my opinion.
They didn't really touch on her career at all.
Yeah, and no federal judge is going to just pick up the phone and be like, hey, honey, they're coming for you. As a federal judge, she's not doing that. She's not. I'm sorry. She's just not going to. And she's not going to say, well, sometimes, you got to just bend the rules. You're a federal judge. Name one time you bent a rule. Stop it. So much is just annoying. And then, since I'm on the tangent that I'm on right now.
Get after it. Go.
When her husband, so the fight scene, I like the fight scene. It's great, whatever. The backwards car and Will, all of that, great. But when she,
Oh no.
when she leaves the vehicle to go basically save Frankie, and her drug cartel Fortune 500 husband, did I say he had a corporate criminal enterprise, just kind of gave up? Like, he's like, okay, I'll turn myself in. This is not who I am. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
That was outrageous.
You didn't believe it?
That whole scene of her being like, I guess I'll get a divorce, and then just like walking in front of the gun and like not being emotional, not really seeming shocked. Like, there was no investment in what was happening in her life. Like, there should be a lot of emotions going on in you right now. If you're begging him to put the gun down and not shoot your somewhat family member, there would be some pleading. There would be some emotion. Also, your marriage is ending, and this is like, there was none of that. It was just like, babe, put the gun down.
And he said, okay.
Like,
Stop it, you guys, stop it, because that all there was like, is this the federal judge?
what's happening?
And the crime lord? Are they both just like crazy right now? Did they take a stupid drug like what was it?
Seagull.
Exactly.
The truth serum.
The serum.
That was
Saline.
clever. That was a great part of the episode.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic.
I liked that.
Just trying to bring it back.
Yeah, no, it was. It was
It was
fantastic.
great.
It was fantastic, and it showed how integral Susan is all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it wasn't my favorite episode. I'm still totally, I love Whiskey Cavalier because it does tend to like just make me chuckle. But I just had so many questions this episode. That's all.
a lot of things left unanswered.
Yeah.
The
Or
stakes didn't
unsatisfied.
feel high enough. Like, the stakes were high, but the emotions didn't match the stakes, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You know what I did like? They clearly shot in LA when it was overcast.
Yeah.
And they added that little line at the end, like, is it ever sunny in LA?
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's because they were planning to shoot on an actual, like, beautiful, typical day here, and they just got the one day a month that
Yep.
just isn't great.
No, but we've had, especially if it's this year, it's
May gray and June
It's
gloom.
been miserable.
It's been miserable from the beginning of this year. Like, we barely have had sunny
You say
SoCal.
miserable. I say perfect.
But I thought that was a clever, perhaps ad-libbed addition.
Yeah, that was
And
good.
I liked it.
Yeah. So overall thoughts of the ending, how it wrapped itself up for today's episode.
I'm looking forward to next week.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about it. Especially because, what was it, like 3 weeks ago now that they dropped the bomb that Standish's girlfriend is involved. And then the last 2 episodes have just been completely something else. And so I'm excited to get back to, like, that stuff. So this
Yeah.
episode
The
was
big
kind of like
bads.
we'll throw it away. We'll just put it aside.
I don't think it needs to be thrown away, but I think it needs to be viewed with the lens that it was an earlier episode.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, it does fill in some blanks, you guys, so it has that going for it, for sure. Let's move on to some mixing it up for our Whiskey Wednesday.
I'm back for whiskey.
Yeah.
All right, so this week we are doing what we're calling a Jack and Jill to go with the main characters. So we've got whiskey, ginger beer, and a little bit of grenadine. So cheers, ladies.
Jack and Jill went up the hill.
Oh, okay. No, she left me hanging.
Oh, did I?
All right.
Cheers. Sorry. I
That
wasn't,
is
I wasn't
quite
used to
tasty.
you being here.
Just the ghost.
Let's move on to some
delicious.
quick news and gossip.
Alrighty, guys. So I just have a couple of things today, but so we just talked about next week. We should be excited about it. Tyler James Williams says the finale is like a effing movie. So we already know there's gonna be a ski scene. They alluded to it a few weeks ago in the news, but there was also part of that in the promo. I think there's gonna be a lot of action. I think it's gonna answer a lot of our outstanding questions, and I think it's gonna be effing amazing. So I'm really, really excited about it. And so is Tyler James Williams, apparently. Anna Ortiz was tweeting that Susan and Ray didn't get spy names or a couple name this season, which honestly, I feel like they got like really shortchanged on that one.
Yeah.
So next season, make sure, writers, please, to give them a proper couple name. Raysan, maybe?
Sure.
We can work on it.
We can work on it. But they deserve one, and they also deserve spy names. I mean, Ray is even part of the team now. I'm even advocating for him to get a spy name. So let's make that happen. And I'm going to move on to Linda. I know you have a bunch of stuff to talk about.
Yeah. So I have some pictures that I want to pull up here. The Whiskey Cavalier Twitter. It's hard to see, but they posted a group photo, and they're basically saying, we love the gang, we love the family. And I wish it came in clearer, because Ray is thugging it out, and it's really, really funny.
Oh, he's doing the neck thing.
Yeah, he's doing the neck
Stick
thing.
it out.
Yeah.
He looks like a thumb, but I like it.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And I like that we had that reference of the neck thing that he had when they were undercover. So, guys, as most of you know, the news came in that Whiskey Cavalier has been canceled by ABC. And if you go anywhere on social media and you even put in Whiskey Cavalier anywhere, your whole stream, pages and pages and pages, has Save Whiskey Cavalier, hashtag Save Whiskey Cavalier. Please help us save the show. And it's a movement, and it's a big movement that has really...
It's getting a lot of traction.
Not only getting a lot of traction, I read that the creators of the show are trying to shop the show to other networks. So hopefully it will find a home somewhere else.
Yeah, I heard TBS potentially. I have also heard Netflix potentially. I'm not sure this fits with Netflix so much, but TBS for sure. That would be a great home for it. And then on the news of its cancellation, just wanted to bring up the cast is actually taking it pretty hard, but they're really voicing their support for this movement.
Yeah.
And so Marika and Scott posted a really teary video thanking their cast and career. Veer Das tweeted that the last thing he wants to do on a tough day is do 80 minutes of stand-up. So they've all been really vocal about it, but I think they're also really getting behind this push to get a new home, which I am also all behind.
I'm behind it too, because I think that they really deserve a second season to flesh out all the stuff that they put down.
It needs to be a different time, like we've said a million times. If it's
not just the timing, I think they just deserve the opportunity to flesh out the characters that they've created and established.
Oh, totally.
Because I think that they just got their feet wet, and now they can start like swimming. Guys, a couple more photos. The Whiskey Cavalier. I thought that this flashback photo is amazing, and it just shows all of our favorite characters being very James Bondy, circa 1970.
Absolutely.
And then I love this photo. Laura,
oh wow,
right? So she looks gorgeous. I'm just gonna put it out there that her Walking Dead fans are also on the flip side of things, and they're kind of happy the show got canceled because they think that she's gonna come back as Maggie. And then last but not least, Lauren also posted this, and I thought it had like a double meaning because, you know, gang is like your family, and Whiskey Cavalier is her family, so I thought it was very sweet.
Yeah, she and Tyler James Williams have a little inside joke about that. They were going back and forth.
Oh, I love it.
That picture.
I love it. And then last but not least, Dapper Dave.
Oh my gosh.
he looks good.
Yeah.
Doesn't he look amazing? So Jay on the show in his typical suit.
Is this like a GQ or a Vogue picture? What's happening here?
He looks fine. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on to Heat versus Heart.
Yes.
You ladies ready?
Yeah.
Okay, first question. If you could pick any character from a TV show and pair them with any character from a book, who would you put together?
Like romantically?
Yes.
Ooh.
This takes some thought. I don't know.
Yeah, it does. Powerpuff Girls and Harry Potter.
See how easy that was?
I got nothing.
You've been off for too long.
What's
No
happening?
days off for you.
What time zone am I in?
What phone apps are you and your significant other most obsessed with?
Ooh, we Snapchat a lot. You saw me yesterday.
Yeah.
We were Snapchatting. I was Snapchatting the dog.
Yeah.
So we really like that. And then obviously Instagram, just sharing goofy memes.
Well, I don't have a significant other.
But if you did.
When I am dating somebody, I am a big fan of gifts.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like just
yeah,
sending
yeah.
silly gifts back and forth. That's pretty much how my best friend and I communicate, just with those back and forth.
Awesome. Yeah. That's number 3 on my list.
2 more questions. First question, or second to last question. What TV show or movie would describe your craziest relationship?
Oh, my.
These are hard today.
These are the OC.
How hard was that?
I just want to say Gilmore Girls because it's my favorite show, but it doesn't make sense.
Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls. It was like
Sure.
happy and fun.
Friends. Pick any of the couples. and
Yeah,
just go
yeah.
with one of
Friends is
those.
a good one. I still stand by the OC.
Do you see
I need
what
some time to think about these.
Okay, last question. It will be very simple. What was your first impression of your partner? And if you don't have a partner now, your previous partner.
Smart. Cute. Smart and cute.
Good looking and made me weak in the knees.
Aww.
Oh.
She saved her pathetic responses and she reeled it back in, guys. Let's do some predictions for our last and final episode next week.
And now,
I think
AfterBuzz TV.
that Will and Frankie are going to open up about their affection for each other, and then boom, season over, so that it's a cliffhanger for the next one.
I think they're going to kiss. I think they've got to kiss.
They've got a kiss,
And there's going to be a lot of action, like you said. And obviously, we're going to deal with Standish's girlfriend and drama.
the big bad too. I mean, all that has to get
Oh, so
They
much
have
good stuff.
60 minutes to wrap it up.
Do it all.
42 with commercials.
I hope they wrap it up in a way that gives them the opportunity to either move forward or close it out for their fans. My prediction, I'm going to stand by it. I think that Standish is going to have a major part in taking down his girlfriend. Love it. And I think that Frankie she's going to open up to Will. And I think the cliffhanger will be that she will be so open and he will be so surprised that he won't really know how to take it and may not take it serious. So those are my predictions, guys. If you want to continue the conversation, I'm Linda Antwi. You can find me all across social media at Linda Is So Girly.
I'm Janine Doyon, and you can find me at Janine Doyon.
And I'm Monica Ortega, and you can find me at Monica Goes Show.
Guys, next week, the big finale. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.